Well, hello everyone. It's Amy from the Mindful Soul Center, and I wanted to thank you for joining me here on this page to hear a little bit about a story of how yoga has really changed my life and how I believe that it can change yours. I'm doing this because I actually completely changed my entire career in the last few years because yoga has helped me on my journey through this world. Now, uh, where do I begin? Okay, so um, back in December 2012, I turned 50 years old. Woohoo! Right? Which I remember as a child. I remember, we were all like, well, how old are we going to be when the year 2000 hits, right? And then, of course, there was a lot of hype around 2012. So it was like, how old am I going to be in 2012? Anyway, I turned 50. I also was supposed to be the end of the world. And in I mean, not really, but it was actually like the end of the world for me in some ways because I ended up getting very ill during that time after really being very fit. I was running 8K or 5 miles every single day. And I was also doing other activities as well. I felt good. I was eating right. Everything was okay. And then that winter, the hormones and things, and I really got hit by menopause. I mean, it was kind of creeping up right on me, but then that's when everything really started to, that kind of summer. And by December I was not feeling that well. By January I was very ill in 2013, so ill that my blood pressure was so low that I had to go to the hospital. And it seemed so sudden. Now, maybe looking back at it now, maybe it wasn't because I had a lot of symptoms, but I just kept going. I kept running, I kept doing my stuff. Anyway, I had practiced yoga way back in the day. And then also because I was doing a lot of other things, swimming and running and doing different things, I stopped practicing yoga. There just seemed like not to be enough time for it. But so as it turns out, after being sick, there were some points where I could not do anything. I mean, I actually had a very difficult time working. Things were not really good. 2014, I started to feel better because I actually during this time tried yoga again, but really struggled with it. So instead, I was walking and doing some things, but I still, again, didn't find any real activity that made me feel very good. So fast forward to, I think it was, I don't know if it was December 2014 or December 2015, to be quite frank with you. But I had been searching for yoga instructors on YouTube because by this time there were a lot of yoga instructors on YouTube and they were putting out videos. And I was looking for somebody that I felt comfortable practicing with because not all teachers will be for you. That's how it is. You got to find a teacher that you vibe with, that you're in the kind of groove with, really, because some teachers maybe teach very slowly, or some teachers maybe go too fast, or maybe you just found the wrong video that day when you're trying yoga online. I had a ton of shame. I had gained a lot of weight. I didn't want to be seen in public, so I didn't want to go to a gym. I felt disgusted with myself. I had been super fit. None of my clothes fit me anymore. And I mean, that is only like one part of yoga, is how it can physically help you. This isn't a practice that it will physically help you. But this isn't about weight loss, although that can be a beneficial thing. I still have never returned to my very thin size, which was like very low. And I did actually become more fit and more healthy. Now, I have also had some challenges along the way from that time when I started again. So I would do yoga, and then I was tired. I couldn't do it every single day because I was actually maybe doing a little bit too much, maybe doing like an hour or something one day when I should have just started with like 15 minutes a day. So I would do yoga, then I would take a couple days off because I was recovering from that energy. It took me a while to really get into the groove. Hormones, mayhem, shame, a lot of stuff. I mean, it wasn't really pretty. So, but in the long run, what happened is that in I did start to get into a practice on a more consistent basis. I was feeling much better, and I started to do yoga like maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Sometimes even really just a half an hour, 40 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I would find different instructors, different practices. But I did, the one instructor that really helped me was Erica Vetra. She was like athletic, and I've even met her since I started practicing with her, and she really helped to change my life. I then also participated in some groups of doing different yoga practices. I found different instructors, and I did find another instructor as well that I really appreciate and love, and that is Lara Dwyer, who's in Australia. So I know this is like a long, long story, but the reason why I want to tell you this is because these people, one in Austin, Texas, one in Perth in Australia, were so far away from where I lived, and they impacted my life. So I started to feel better. I started to feel fitter. You know what? I still have a fat belly a bit, and I'm working on my body all the time. Not for what is that called? Vanity. Of course, we all have a little bit of that probably, but it's not really about vanity. I'm working on doing my yoga and doing my practice because I want to be healthy, and I want to be able to get up. I want to be able to have a strong, flexible body, and I want to live the rest of my years in the best state of health that I can. So yoga brings that to your body, and it brings it also to a kind of peace of mind. So oh God, I talk so much. In May of 2017, in the beginning of the month, I would say maybe like the first week of the month, I started feeling like, okay, you know what, Amy, you know how to design websites. You're going to make a website, and you're going to do this, and you're going to take some writings, like I had written some articles on different topics and things. And I said, all right, you're going to take those and you're going to put them on this website, and you're going to encourage people to live a conscious life. This is something that's always been important to me. I feel like I've been on a spiritual journey since childhood, and the whole 9 yards. I'm older now. Right now, wait, let me see. 2012, I was 50. I'm going to be 50. We're 58 in December of this year. So here I am. I changed my life. So so I did this website, and then I was thinking, oh, you know what? I'll get together some other yoga teachers, and I'll get together some other people who are into conscious living, and I'll try to create this community. Anyway, I didn't know exactly what I was doing with this. It was just kind of this idea like that I wanted to help people learn about yoga. I wanted them to not be overwhelmed with the ideas of Sanskrit terminology. I wanted people to understand that it's not just people posing on Instagram, which I love to see those poses actually and think, geez, I'd like to do that too sometime. But but also at the same time, it can be very intimidating. So I decided to create this site. So I did that, and I kind of going along, writing articles about different topics, essays, things about things that are really important, that I feel are important in the world, like even including like my experience with gun control and my opinions about it, but not just my opinions on it, but also reality based in fact. You know, when things would upset me, sometimes I would write about them, or just about my own life, about an event that happened, whatever it was. I felt like, you know what, I've already lived a lot of years, and I think that some people might benefit from my stories and the experiences that I've had. So, fast forward. Geez, I'm a yapper. Fast forward to now. Um, Wait, no. When was it? So 2017 website, 2018, yeah. Okay, let's fast forward to 2019 to April. Let's fast forward to December of 2018. And I had been following Sukha Yoga Perth because she posted some like pretty pictures of India and stuff, and she had mentioned having retreats. And this is Lara. And I thought, oh, you know what? I would love to go on a retreat, and I can't. It's not that I can't go to India by myself. I could, but I did not want to go by myself for the first time there. I wanted to go with somebody who has experienced India before, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity. I loved practicing with Laura, following her practices on YouTube, and so I got in touch with her. And actually, I posted something on Instagram, and I said something like, she had posted this beautiful picture of the Golden Temple, and I said that I wanted to go on the retreat, but maybe not. I knew I wasn't going to be able to go whenever she had posted it, maybe in the spring or something. I said, you know, I do want to go on a retreat with you sometime, but it's not going to happen this time, but maybe next time. Well, next time came around and she tagged me, and then I met her on Zoom, and then I ended up going on this wonderful retreat with so many beautiful women who were really encouraging and supportive, and really it was a wonderful experience. I went there and I'm such a crybaby, but it was a lifelong dream for me. I have been fascinated with India since I was a child. And anyway, let's skip over that part and move on to what happened next. I came back from that retreat, and I had, so before I went on the retreat, I noticed that I was struggling with maintaining my practice. I'd been doing so well. And then I was like having some days where I wasn't, I would skip maybe like 2 or 3 days, and I usually would just skip one day of not doing yoga or something. And I noticed this, like my good intentions and my good habits started to fall away. And so I said, all right, I need to do something about this. So I started a challenge on Instagram, and some people participated in it, and still some people sometimes find it and do it. And it was a 21-day challenge where I curated videos from various instructors, and I did all of the videos that are in the challenge and people that I liked, and I thought that it would be worth a while for other people to do it too. So I did the challenge and got myself back into the habit. And that was in March. The retreat was at the end of April and in May. And then I came back and I was really feeling on a roll, and then again, life happened. On the second leg of my flight back home, the person sitting behind me was very sick, and I ended up getting the flu. So I had the flu, which I hadn't had for years. And that was really like shit, it really knocked me out. As you get older, like having the flu is a little bit harder. So I ended up recovering from that, and then my dogs got sick, both of them. One had high blood pressure, the other one was just from old age. So it started out with this kind of thing where I had to lift them into these transport vehicles to get them to the dog hospital where they could have x-rays and different things. And in the end, one of them is fine and she is here, but during that time I threw out my back. And in the last days of my dog Narika's life, she became I guess kind of paralyzed. I mean, she would be able to walk a few steps and then she would fall. So it was just, gosh, I don't even want to talk about it. It's almost 1 year, in fact, since that time. And I threw out my back during that time. So I was in so much pain. I went to a chiropractor and eventually I did recover. But I could hardly walk out, and I don't own a car. So, and the grocery stores are not that far. Like, you can't take a taxi to one. So it's not, they wouldn't pick you up and drive you just, a short distance. So I would ask a friend to meet me there to help carry some groceries home. And it was very difficult. It took me a few weeks to kind of recover. And then I started my practice again. Now, this was, and even as I was recovering, I said, that's it. I am going to commit to becoming a yoga teacher. I ended up, I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to become a yoga teacher. And I really was thinking that I would just teach online, right? And then COVID came. So, of course, that's what really happened. I wasn't, but I did start to even think of the idea of like opening a studio here. The thing is, though, so I go to India for my yoga teacher training. It is a 28-day training. Now, I think on day like 20, let's say maybe like day 24 or day 23, I fell. And in the driveway of where I was staying, because there was a big ditch and it was a new moon, there was no light. And I tripped, I stumbled, and I remember cursing a little bit. And then I forgot about it. So the next morning I woke up, I did my yoga practice or in our training, and then for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it was. And then, we did our studies during the day. And then in the evening, we had our Ashtanga practice at 4 o'clock. So I did that too. And the last few days of my trip, I started to get increasingly worse. And so much so that I ended up not being able to walk and having to go to the hospital there. So, kind of pushing myself when I shouldn't have. Like, I started to say, okay, maybe I shouldn't do so much of that, whatever. The teachers were very nice and said, okay, like, don't push yourself too much. Anyway, finally I get to the hospital and I have 2 bulging discs in my spine. And now, and I'm thinking, I had an MRI and it sucked. It sucked. I cried. I was not a happy camper. Now, I am truly a certified, registered yoga teacher that teaches online. So, you can ask me all kinds of questions or whatever just by emailing me. I know that yoga has healed me. So, but the very important part of this story is not that I just went to India and became a registered yoga teacher. So I returned home, and then day by day, 5 minutes a day, I would do some yoga. Every day you do a little bit and you move forward. 5 minutes until the next day. I couldn't take my dog for a walk when I came home, really. I could take her just across the street or something, and then I would have to return home. So a good friend of mine came and took her for walks every day while I was getting better. I was resting a lot. And then day by day, like, I came here for this training. I want to teach yoga. But not just yoga. I really don't even like the word yoga sometimes. I mean, it's beautiful, whatever, union. But I think the problem with yoga is that it gets limited in these like idea that it's some kind of fitness thing, and that is not the yoga that I teach. Yes, you will become flexible and stronger, and it does have those benefits. However, The yoga that I teach is the yoga of focus, of presence, of moving and doing with intention, and creating stresses on your body so that you can overcome them. These are like baby stresses, right? So these baby stresses that we do, very focused and intentional, help to rewire the nervous system so that we can be better off of the mat. I am rambling and rambling, and I wasn't planning on doing a 20-minute thing. Okay, the doctor said, how did that happen? What did you do? And I was like, I don't know. One of my fellow teachers in training, Sunayana, she said, Amy, remember you fell that one night? And I was like, oops, yes. So that was the cause of it, but I exacerbated the problem. So I probably should have taken a few days off, but I didn't even realize that I was injured. So this is how sometimes these things happen. We don't even know that we have an injury, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, you get the thing. Look, my hair is like, ugh. Okay. So the last 3 days or something, or 4 days of my time there, I had like added on a couple of extra days. That last day or two, I was thinking, shit, I had to change my airline ticket and get wheelchair assistance because I couldn't walk. I could not walk through the airport. I was in pain. I was on painkillers. I returned home on like February 5th or something, 6th, February, somewhere around there. By the beginning of March, I was doing like 10 minutes of yoga a day. By mid-March, I was doing 20 minutes. By April 1st, I was teaching yoga online and practicing daily, and not able to do, quite a few things. Well, let's see. All of April I taught, all of May I taught. I've been practicing doing my own practice, and here we are. We're in June. So I even have a class today that I'm teaching online, and I've now posted some videos to YouTube. Unfortunately, at the time, my quality of my speaker was a problem, but that's been resolved, luckily. And now I'm teaching every week, 2 classes in one day, and I'm doing my own practice. And you know what? But I no longer have back pain. I am well, and I can also mention that besides the love of my friends, there was also a chiropractor and a massage therapist involved in my healing process, and daily yoga. So that long story. I just wanted to come on here and be like, yay, great, you're signed up, woo, woo, woo. But I have to tell you, I really wanted to say that. Maybe I'll say that in the first minute and tell people they can still watch if they want to hear the story. But the truth is that yoga is a healing practice, and it can do wonders for your body. Am I going to have problems with my back again? It's possible. But not probable. I want to invite you to take your health into your hands and do yoga with me. So I hope that you will invest in yourself, invest in your health, invest in a practice that can really do you so much good, creating more strength, more flexibility, and it's not just physical fitness. This is also a mental thing too. So, on that note, I wish you well, and namaste.